And welcome back. It's my pleasure to have English professor Bruce McGee next to me with Louisiana Tech and mystery writer for the ULL Press, Stephen Payne, there on the end. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me today.
Well, thank you.
We're talking about Louisiana Anthology, which is just amazing if you haven't seen it online. I'm going to start with you, Stephen. Tell us, what is Louisiana Anthology?
So the anthology is a massive collection of works about Louisiana. History, biography, novels, poetry, fiction, essays, geographies even, and it explores the people and the culture of the Pelican State. And we're the largest collection of its type, and in fact the first collection of its type online.
Bruce, why is it important to read Louisiana literature?
Well, you know, as a state, we've done a pretty good job of letting people know about our music, our food, our architecture, you know, our wildlife, our celebrations, but we haven't done as good a job at letting people know about our literature. But our literature is what tells us what all that other stuff means. So if folks want to understand Louisiana, then we want to be able to read about Louisiana, and you know, the light bulb will go off, and they'll, you know, we'll understand something we didn't before. And
on the website, Louisiana Anthology, you can read the stories. You can also listen to a podcast.
Yes.
And today's podcast was Marie Laveau.
Yeah. The Voodoo Queen of New Orleans.
Yeah, very interesting.
Well, thank you.
So you brought a book with you here today. You're unveiling your latest book, and it is by James Workman. Bruce, who is James Workman? And both of you, I'll ask you first, Bruce, and tell us what the book is about.
So James Workman was a lawyer from Ireland who moved to the United States early on. And when he heard about the Louisiana Purchase, he was just really excited and thought it was a great thing. And he wanted to write something that would make people support the purchase. And so he decided he wanted to write a comedy because that was keep people's interest more, but it would be a comedy rooted in that change of power from the Spanish to the French to the Americans.
Show the cover of the book. This is Jackson Square in the 1800s. It's a comedy. Stephen, I'll ask you this question, but it's based on history as well.
Yeah, it's set on the last day of the Franco-Spanish period, 1803, and the very first day of the American period. So it's what was called a comedy of manners, meaning that it was a comedy set among the upper classes of the nobility. And you usually get people being portrayed in very satirical terms. They're being ridiculed because they're pompous, like one of the characters is in the play, or they're sleazy or whatever else. And so in this particular play, this young heiress is representative of Louisiana itself. She's a Spanish heiress. And she is going to find herself fending off the advances of a couple of con men who kind of float into the narrative, as well as trying to fend off the advances of her guardian, who is this old sleazy Spanish judge. So all kinds of, misadventures ensue, out of that. So.
And the painting on the front has them raising the American flag at Jackson Square and lowering the French flag. Yeah. Stephen, how can we get more information on the website and more information about getting Louisiana Anthology into the schools?
Yeah, so if you go to our website, and you can go, is it Louisiana-anthology.org. We're now not-for-profit. We're actually incorporated as a 501c not-for-profit. And so you can go to our website. We have all kinds of links that you can go and click on those links. What we intend down the road is to take our show on the road, so to speak, and go out to schools, to libraries, maybe to book signings, etc., and again, sort of push the idea of Louisiana literature so that our kids particularly can read Louisiana literature and read about relatable characters that relate to them as Louisianans.
We're out of time, but it is an incredible website. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We need to come to have you back, and so we can keep pushing it. I think everyone needs to check it out, especially if you like to read and listen to podcasts. Thank you. Up next, all the ULM homecoming activities are coming up. We'll tell you all about it. Stay with us.